Welcome back, Lore Masters. Today, we journey to the heart of a fallen empire, to a land scarred by fire and shrouded in mystery. We are talking about the 14 Flames, the colossal chain of volcanoes that birthed and then obliterated the greatest civilization the world has ever known, the Valyrian freehold. What secrets lie buried beneath the ash? How did a handful of shepherds rise to command dragons and forge an empire that stretched across the known world? And what truly caused the doom that wiped it all away in a single day? Join us as we delve into the fiery origins, the magical might, and the cataclysmic end of old Valyria, a story written in stone and fire. Before the age of dragons and empires, the Valyrian Peninsula was a wild, untamed land, dominated by a formidable mountain range known as the 14 Flames. This wasn't just any mountain range. It was a seething, geological hotspot, a chain of volcanoes constantly rumbling with the power of the world's core. The early Valyrians were humble shepherds, living in the shadows of these fiery peaks. To them, the mountains were both a source of life and a constant, terrifying threat. They were a people who learned to respect the earth's power, because they lived right on top of its most violent expression. But this land held a secret far greater than just geothermal energy. Deep within the volcanic caverns, in the very heart of the 14 Flames, lived creatures of myth and legend, dragons. The legends say the Valyrians stumbled upon them, discovering dragon eggs warmed by the natural heat of the mountains. Whether through courage, luck, or some forgotten magic, these shepherds did the impossible. They didn't just survive alongside these fearsome beasts, they bonded with them. This was the turning point in history. The discovery of dragons transformed the Valyrians from a simple pastoral society into the future masters of the world. The fire in the mountains had given them the ultimate weapon and the key to their destiny. Taming dragons was just the beginning. The Valyrians were not only brave, but also incredibly gifted in the arcane arts. They developed a unique form of magic, one deeply intertwined with fire and blood. They learned to weave spells to enhance their control over the dragons, binding the creatures to their will with an unbreakable bond. But their ambition didn't stop there. They turned their magical prowess toward the very volcanoes that had birthed their power. Using powerful spells, known as fire magic, they learned to manage the 14 Flames. They could quell eruptions, direct lava flows, and harness the immense geothermal energy. This control allowed them to build their magnificent cities without fear of the ever-present volcanic threat. With this unprecedented power, they began to mine the mountains relentlessly. The 14 Flames were rich with gold, silver, and other precious metals. Armies of slaves were forced into the sweltering, dangerous mines, toiling under the earth to extract the wealth that fueled the freehold's expansion. The Valyrians built roads of fused black stone that seemed to drink the sunlight and erected towers so tall they were said to kiss the clouds, all built with the wealth dug from the fiery mountains and the magic that controlled them. Valyria became a nexus of power, its cities glowing with an otherworldly light, its lords soaring through the skies on dragonback. They had tamed nature itself, bending the very elements to their will, and building an empire on the back of a volcano chain they believed they had conquered forever. For 5,000 years, the Valyrian freehold reigned supreme. Their power was absolute, their wealth immeasurable, and their knowledge of magic unparalleled. From their capital in the heart of the 14 Flames, their dragon lords conquered and colonized much of Essos, establishing an empire that knew no rival. They believed their dominion was eternal, their control over the dragons and the earth unshakable. They had become gods in their own eyes, masters of fire and blood. But pride, as it so often does, comes before a fall. And the fall of Valyria would be the most spectacular and terrifying cataclysm the world had ever witnessed. It would not be an invading army or an internal rebellion that brought them down, but the very source of their power turned against them with unimaginable fury. The day is now known simply as the Doom. Without warning, every single peak in the 14 Flames erupted simultaneously. It wasn't a normal eruption, it was an apocalypse. The earth split open, spewing forth torrents of ash, smoke, and fire that reached for miles into the sky. The sky turned black as night, blotting out the sun. The magnificent towers of Valyria, built to last for eternity, were shattered and melted. The fused stone roads cracked and buckled. Lakes boiled away, and rivers of lava consumed everything in their path. The very spells the Valyrians had used to control the volcanoes seemed to fail, or perhaps were turned against them. Some say a rebellion of slaves in the mines triggered the cataclysm with their own blood magic. Others whisper that rival sorcerers from afar finally found a way to break Valyria's power. Whatever the cause, the result was absolute devastation. In a single day, the Valyrian peninsula was shattered. The land itself was torn asunder, collapsing into the sea. Where a mighty continent had once stood, now only a collection of scattered, smouldering islands remained, separated by a newly formed body of water, the smoking sea. The water there is said to be perpetually steaming, tainted with poisons and haunted by monsters. The air is thick with ash and foul vapors. Valyria, the shining jewel of the world, was gone. Its people, its dragons, its magic, all consumed by the fire from which they had risen. The greatest empire in history was wiped from the face of the earth in a matter of hours, a chilling testament to the fact that no power, no matter how great, is forever. Today, what remains of old Valyria is a place of legend and terror. It is a cursed, demon-haunted ruin, where the brave or foolish go to die. Sailors avoid the smoking sea at all costs, fearing the krakens and other horrors said to dwell in its murky depths. They tell tales of the air itself being poisonous, and of twisted, half-human creatures, the supposed descendants of those who survived the doom, still lurking among the ruins. The once glorious cities are now just blackened skeletons of towers and broken walls, half submerged in the steaming, black water. The wealth of the freehold, the Valyrian steel swords, the spellbooks filled with forgotten lore, all of it lies buried beneath ashen water, guarded by the ghosts of a fallen empire. The legacy of the 14 Flames is one of duality, creation and destruction. They gave birth to the dragons that allowed Valyria to conquer the world, and they were the instrument of its utter annihilation. The story of Valyria serves as a permanent, terrifying reminder that the powers we seek to control can ultimately consume us. The smoking sea and its broken islands are a monument to hubris, a permanent scar on the world map, whispering of the day when the mountains screamed and fire rained from the sky. And so, the mystery endures. Was the doom a natural disaster, a magical attack, or the price of the Valyrians' own dark ambitions? Perhaps some secrets are meant to stay buried, lost forever in the shadow of the volcanoes that once gave, and then took, everything. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the fiery past of Valyria. What do you think truly caused the doom? Let us know your theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this dive into the lore, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more adventures into the forgotten corners of history and myth. Until next time, stay curious.